Nation of Fitin10, it is day 40 of the challenge, day 40. And if you have not booked your scan, the one that we are starting tomorrow, if you've not booked your scan, please do so at www.calendly.com/train-on-main, okay? Calendly, CALENDLY.com/train-on-main, okay? If you can't get in, let me know and I'll do my best. Well, I will get you in, okay? We'll find a time to get you in. Okay, reminder too with your scans. You know what? I better send out an email reminder. I'm not even gonna say it in the video. I'll send out an email reminder, right? But you know, no alcohol, no caffeine within 24 hours. If it's time of the month for you, ladies, let's maybe avoid it. Okay, if it's like just at the beginning of your time of the month. No metals on your body. Come in on an empty stomach. Try to use the washroom before you do. No heavy clothing. Okay. I guess I said it all there, but I will send out an email too. All right, let's get back to your feedback here. So name something specific you can improve upon for the following week. Drinking more water. Okay, so there's a list here. Drinking more water. Okay, how much? So you know, let's again give yourself something that you can meet. So even if it's a little bit, you know, like I'm gonna drink an extra cup per day, right? So give yourself something to be accountable to. Obviously, this is for you. Well, I mean, really, this feedback's for everybody. This is part of the community, right? Is really the feedback in these videos and Slack and everything. So this is really for everybody, but ultimately for you, to help you to be more accountable, right? To be accountable, you got to be. If you don't set any standard, you know, how do we improve upon something where there's no standard, right? How do we shoot for a goal without having an actual goal, right? This becomes more challenging. Remembering to get more iron foods in weekly. Okay, so maybe you want to say what foods exactly, specifically, how much, something like this. Okay, it doesn't have to be all these things. You know, how many times a week are you going to do this? What are the foods? Something like that, okay? To drink water before and after my workout. I seem to be less tired. Yeah, you'll be less tired if you are dehydrated. You're going to feel tired for sure. Improving on my push-ups both with depth and reps. So again, you know, maybe you want to give yourself a rep target here. Cossack, Bulgarian split, curtsy squats with dumbbells, getting down deeper and using so getting down deeper, and I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say here. And start using dumbbells. I'm assuming you mean start using some weight, right? Dumbbells would be correct, right? Yeah, so, you know, well, I mean, depth would be a harder one because it's hard for us to give ourselves a, you know, something concrete to shoot for, but definitely we could, you know, maybe, you know, set a limit with a dumbbell. So, you know, you're going to start with 5s or something, right? All right, name something specific you need help with. I find push-ups, any style, quite hard. Should we be starting from the floor? Yes, you should be starting from the floor if you can. All right, so basically you can. You could do, obviously, push-ups. The hardest version is going to be, you know, your feet on the floor. Well, I guess you could make it harder by having your feet elevated, but, you know, for the sake of simplicity here, most people are going to do it off the floor, and that's going to be harder. So what you could do is you can go off your knees, and if that's still too hard, then we do partial off the knees, okay? And so in that case, you wouldn't start from the floor because you couldn't, right? So, but you know, the idea here is, well, I guess what we could do is we could put something underneath your chest. So that would be an option, right? We could put something underneath to give you some rise so that you're starting in that correct position. But the reason why we want to start from the floor is to be able to set those shoulders and those elbows. So if you're starting up here, it's harder to set the shoulders, and then we don't know where those elbows are going to go. Ultimately, those elbows are going to go in a little bit closer to the sides of the body, okay? Squats using dumbbells, stretching my hip adductors so I can go deeper. Yeah, so, you know, so when you're training with weights, and it's a bit of a misnomer that weight training will make you tighter. Weight training will make you tighter, or can make you tighter, if you don't go through full range of motion. When you go through full range of motion, or if you test more and more of your range of motion, in a movement, you're going to increase your flexibility. So this would be one case. So let's look at something kind of obvious, a Cossack squat, right? This is the one where we're lunging out to the side and the opposite leg stays, I'm not lunging out to the side, but squatting down on one leg and then the other leg stays straight. So we take that wide stance and one leg stays straight and the other one we're squatting down on. It'd be a really good example of, getting or working on flexibility through those adductors, right? If you work on your flexibility daily, multiple times a day, you will find that you will quickly get a lot more flexible. So one thing that you could do, if it's specifically your adductors, if you spent, say, 2 or 3 minutes per day, so let's say you do, let's do a 1 minute stretch on each side of the adductor, and you do that multiple times per day. So let's say maybe do 4 times a day, and you do that for a full week. You will quickly see that your flexibility will get better. It's really about doing a little bit, sprinkled in throughout the day, right? Especially with flexibility. Is there anything you'd like me to cover in this week's video series? What is muscle twitch? And is it important in training? I don't know what you mean. Maybe you mean muscle fiber type, like fast twitch and slow twitch. So basically, this is a sort of this can be, as far as I'm aware, this is mainly genetically based. However, you can go through certain adaptations. So let me just step back a little bit here. So I'm assuming you're talking about muscle fiber types here. So you've basically got, and this is a little bit more simplistic, but you basically got a fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers. These are the fibers that essentially allow these are like the small motor units of the muscle, and these allow the muscle to, these are like the units that contract in the muscle. And some of these can be more force producing, and some of them can be what we call like more oxidative. So they're not going to be as much force producing, but they're able to, they're a little bit more efficient when it comes to energy usage, and they're able to go longer, but they just can't produce force. So when you do things like, marathon running, you can actually make some of your whatever amount of fast twitch muscle fibers. Let's just use the muscle fibers in your quads, okay? The muscles in the front of the upper legs. Let's just say you're 50% slow twitch, 50% fast twitch. You could actually adapt those fast twitch to be more oxidative. So you make them less forceful. And then likewise, you can do the opposite with heavy training. So you can go through an adaptation process. So when it comes to heavy training, obviously the more fast twitch muscle fibers that you have, you're going to be naturally stronger, and you're going to be naturally more explosive and quicker. Okay, because you're going to get more force production. If you are more oxidative, then you might, and you're, let's say you're the same height and weight as somebody else who's got roughly the same muscle mass as you. But that person's got more fast twitch and you got more oxidative, then and there's more components to this, but you would have better muscle endurance essentially than the person with the fast twitch. So it depends on your style of training, what you're trying to look for. When it comes to strength and muscle hypertrophy, so muscle size, fast twitch is obviously what we want, right? We want more fast twitch, and we want to really utilize those fast twitch. And speaking of which, when you go through whatever activity you're going through, your body goes through what we call like a gradient of muscle fibers. So you never use your fast twitch if you're not doing something extremely explosive or something that involves a high force demand. So if I just go to get out of my chair and walk around, I'm just, I'm going through like the very oxidative, there's different types of oxidative muscle fibers, so I go up that gradient of like getting less oxidative, more fast twitch. And then as I go through that gradient, I get to more and more fast twitch as I demand more force per unit of time. So when I'm lifting, for example, let's use an extreme example here. We're doing a 1 rep max as the heaviest weight you can lift. you can go through all those gradients of muscle fibers. So essentially you're using all the muscle fibers of the active muscles involved in that movement. And if you're doing, how am I doing for time? 1 more 10 minutes, jeez. If you're doing, like I said, getting out of a chair, just walking around, and you're really just going through, those lower end of the oxidative muscle fibers. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but hopefully I did. Okay, all right, let's get the message of the day. This really goes to the week of that you were not going to quit, and of course you're not going to quit this week or any other week for that matter. And it is, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. So I want to keep encouraging you guys to continue, even if it's not 100% of everything you are, quote, supposed to do. Some is better than none. Some is always better than none. Some will get you closer to where you want to be than none will, right? So, the one thing that, and this just kind of carries out through life, is that when you feel like you are successful, you feel like you reach the top of the mountain, but really that's just maybe the mountain of the day, or maybe the week, or perhaps the month, right? But life goes on, and then so you're gonna have these high times and these low times. But the key here is that through whatever you're doing, the key here is that you got to keep continuing moving forward. Whether it's, you got to persist, whether you're doing super good or whether you're doing super bad, right? And so you might say, well, why do I have to persist if I'm doing super good? Well, because, basically, don't let the good times basically give you too much of an ego, right? And likewise, don't let the bad times get you down too much, right? Try to be more even keel and just keep moving forward, regardless of, that's not to say you shouldn't, evaluate things and maybe change things, but keep moving forward towards those things that are important to you, right? All right, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you all very soon. See you guys.